Finally, AEW has presented their current AEW World's Heavyweight Champion, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, with a worthy opponent, with worthy competition, in his own words. Because last night on Dynamite, MJF came out and started berating the crowd, as he does, and he said it himself. He hasn't gotten any type of worthy competition in his mind. And then cue Adam Cole's music, and now comes the former NXT champion. And the back and forth that they had in the middle of that ring, all the callbacks, specifically that callback that MJF had towards Adam Cole, pretty much the exact same callback, the exact same line, word for word, that Adam Cole said to Karrion Kross back in NXT about 3 years ago. And the fact that they just have to ring the bell to make MJF cool and not present him with music and t-shirt and the girl and everything that MJF said in that line. I love that part of it. All throughout the way that Adam Cole called him out on the fact that MJF's fiance left the current world champion. He can't keep a relationship to save his life. I loved every single aspect of it. I was into that segment completely from minute one. From the moment MJF got out there, he is just an absolute monster, a beast, a master on that microphone. And it all leads up to a match set up for next week on Dynamite, which again leaves me a little bit with a question mark. Because it's a World Championship Eliminator match, which I never really understood, but it's basically what WWE did with the Contenders matches, which is if you beat the champion in a non-title match, you get a title match down the line, which to me, when WWE did it, I didn't like it. I don't like that AEW is doing it next week on Dynamite. The first time these two men meet, Adam Cole versus MJF, and one of them is a champion, one of them is the world's champion. It should be for the World Heavyweight Championship, even if it's just on Dynamite. I don't care. Put the title on the line. And I get the fact that the segment was all done. It was played out perfectly in the fact that Adam Cole baited MJF into getting this kind of match. I understand that completely. But you finally present MJF with worthy competition, with threats, real threats to his world title reign. And you put him in a non-title match? And again, Adam Cole, ever since his return back in January 11th, at the beginning of this year in Los Angeles, I was there in the arena when he made his return, when he made that fantastic promo. I felt the energy, the aura that Adam Cole had at that moment. And I called it at one point during this year, he might become world champion for AEW. You have that kind of star in AEW and you're going to put him in a non-title match against MJF. That is a money match and it's a non-title bout. Come on. Come on. Now, with that said, with it being a non-title bout for next week, and the fact that I don't think we saw Chris Jericho at all last night on Dynamite, this leads me to believe MJF is going to get the win with a little help from Y2J and the JAS. And that feud, that rivalry, with its ridiculous, silly match at Double or Nothing, that entire rivalry is going to continue. Which is a shame because, like I said, Adam Cole versus MJF is a big-time money feud, big-time rivalry, big-time match, whatever you want to call it. That's what AEW needs to be focusing on going forward. Even if it's just for Forbidden Door, even if it plays out in the fact that Adam Cole versus MJF is for the world title at Forbidden Door, and then Y2J interferes there and costs him the match. That's even better than if they do it next week on Dynamite. But unfortunately, I think Chris Jericho is going to make an appearance next week during this eliminator match. And this entire feud, this entire rivalry, the beginning, the genesis of this rivalry, this segment that they had last night is going to be for nothing. At least not for nothing in the near future. Which is a shame because, like I said, you can't use MJF, the world's heavyweight champion, your top star, your face of the company, as a tool for other feuds, for other rivalries. And I said this with the Women's World Championship as well, with the whole Outcast versus AEW's homegrown stars. You gotta put the world title on the pedestal, on the showcase it deserves, and it can't just be something in the background for a rivalry. So I'm praying next week during this world title eliminator match, something goes down, MJF causes himself a disqualification or something that has Adam Cole winning this match and leading on to a world title bout at Forbidden Door in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And it's not just another tool to get Jericho and Adam Cole one step further in their rivalry, while MJF is left in the middle of the ring with his title doing absolutely nothing. So with that said, those are my thoughts on last night's segment between Adam Cole and MJF. The crowd was into it as well. The whole rumors of Adam Cole coming up to the main roster as Keith Lee's manager. Love that part of it. I wouldn't consider Adam Cole as a former NXT World Champion. I don't consider that a world title. That's a developmental title, much like Ring of Honor's world title is now. So with that said, I know that's controversial. That's just my opinion. Obviously, most of you don't agree with that. But with that said, what do you think about last night's segment between Adam Cole and current AEW World Champion MJF? Do you think it's going to lead to a world title match at Forbidden Door? Do you think that there's going to be some shenanigans on next week's Dynamite between these two during their match, maybe involving Jericho, or maybe you have a completely different prediction? Leave it in the comments section below. In the meantime, tune in later on tonight to Access TV for another episode of Impact Wrestling. I'm Alexis Carrillo. This has been Wrestling Talk, and I'll see you next time.